Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Collision. We did start off the show with a few pre-show promos, and I do like when they do this with Collision. They could do this with Dynamite as well. I like when they are showing some promos for some of the matches that's going to be taking place tonight, and it gets you in the spirit, in the mood for the show and what to look forward to in just like the first minute or two of the show. So it's a really great way to start off. We did start off with our boy Cope versus the Redwood Big Bill. Now I'm looking at Big Bill and I'm just like, he has a really great look in terms of a wrestler and a really great physique. I wish they would be able to use him more in the ring. I personally have not yet seen the payoff of either Brian Keith or Big Bill being with the learning tree Chris Jericho. But at least he got some great TV time here with Adam Copeland. And I thought that they had really great chemistry. I mean, this ain't no pay-per-view match or anything, but this is really good opportunity to show Big Bill and what he can do. Adam Copeland as well. You know, that leg injury put him out for quite some time, but he's here and I think he's been looking really, really great. However, there's no way Big Bill's going to end up taking a win against Adam Copeland. And us having to, unfortunately, hear Chris Jericho on commentary while he wear a I love Chris Jericho shirt, I heart Chris Jericho. Hell, no, ain't nobody buying that shit. I don't know who bought it, but definitely you'll never see me with that. Now, there's no interference or funny business. There was a couple of times where when it looked like Big Bill was going to take the L, I can see Brian Keith getting all uppity and kind of seeming like he was going to get in that ring, but it never actually happened, and Big Bill loses fair and square. Now, apparently, he's a sore loser. Chris Jericho's not liking the fact that Big Bill takes an L here. So he and Brian Keith, they get on in there with a post-match attack onto Adam Copeland. And then, just as what you expected, here comes FTR to come out there to even things up. And then the use of security guards come on out there and actually be useful and keep everyone away from each other, which was very interesting because they usually can't do that. And the crowd is just chanting, let them fight, let them fight, let them fight. And it doesn't end up happening. But we'll get a little bit more into this whole learning tree business in a little bit. After this, we do have Hangman Adam Page, who at first seems to be rambling a little bit, but he's actually talking to Christopher Daniels. Long story short, he tells Christopher Daniels that they're going to have a Texas death match next Saturday on Collision. So that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. Remember, Christopher Daniels did get involved, well, not involved in the match, kind of inserting himself in whatever Hangman is doing, and with him, you know, trying to stop Hangman from pretty much unleashing hell onto everyone. Hangman is just not happy with Christopher Daniels putting his nose in his business, so they're going to end up having that. And I was really, really surprised to hear Texas Deathmatch. Christopher Daniels, I have not seen him in a match since, I want to say sometime during the summer in Ring of Honor, maybe even a little bit earlier. Since then, he has assumed this position of what he says is EVP. I thought he was an interim CEO or some shit. I don't know what it was, but it's been a while since he's been in the ring, and his first match back is going to be against Christopher Daniels, which is very, very interesting. Now, we do have our next match, which surprised me because I didn't know this was happening. Pac going against Commander. And I really did enjoy this match. Commander, while he's talented, I wish we can get a little bit more out of him. And for me, I was just like, well, Commander should win this, right? He's a Ring of Honor champion. Maybe that doesn't mean a damn thing in AEW, but the thing is that I still feel like when it comes to champions, you kind of gotta have to protect them no matter where they're out, where they are. But in this situation, Pac is also a champion as well. Y'all might have forgotten about the trio's damn titles. Yes, Death Riders are also hogging up them titles as well. So it's pretty much kind of like a champion versus champion type of match. Commander's out there, and I feel like he's doing really well with Pac. But Pac is really in that Death Rider spirit, and he needs to take this win. Alex Abrahantes even got snatched up too during this match. And unfortunately, before Pac can hurt him, Commander goes and saves Alex Abrahantes. Boo! I wanted to see him get his ass whooped or something. That doesn't end up happening. However, Commander ends up losing this match via submission. And I did not like that. If Commander was going to lose via submission. It should have been something like a choke or something where he can just fade, not having to tap, not having to say he quits or anything. That would be best case scenario rather than having him tap out. Something about it I just don't care for in terms of them kind of sacrificing a champion. Whenever they need someone to do a good match out there, they'll call up Commander. But for him to lose this way, I don't think was a good thing to me. Now, after the match, Pac and Wheeler Yuta, who is next on the card in tag team action, they come out there and attack Commander. And then that's when the Outrunners, Captain Saberho, they came on out there to help Commander. Their match was already next. And I do like how they transitioned into the next match without having, without the commercial breaks or any fuss or anything. It transitioned really nicely onto this match. Wheeler Yuta looked beat the fuck up from that match the other day, and here he is again, hardly alive, to team up here with Claudio Castagnoli. Now, this is one of those situations where, yes, the Outrunners that come out there, they make you laugh. They're one of those gimmicky type tag teams. But I'm watching this, I'm just like, oh, y'all wrestling tonight. You forget how well they are in the ring because of their kind of like comedy type of gimmick, but they're very good in the ring. And I felt like the chemistry between them and Claudio and Wheeler were really, really great. However, Wheeler Yuta, he's the runt of the group, okay, forever. And it's so funny because Claudio is just seeming to be disappointed with whatever the fuck Wheeler Yuta is doing in this match. He doesn't seem happy about anything. And at some point, he's just like, you know what, I'm going to wrap this up. He ends up tagging himself in and tell Wheeler Yuta, hey, I'm going to swing this bitch. Just get ready to do the drop kick. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is a man who comes in, take charge, get shit done, and leave. I like that in a man. They end up taking the win here, and rightfully so. Now, I honestly, even after this, Claudio seems to still be really disappointed in Wheeler Yuta, and I'm just like, no matter what he does, there's just nothing that he can do to impress this group, and I feel so bad for Wheeler Yuta. I really do. Wheeler Yuta, get yourself out of this abusive relationship. After this, we do get a promo, pre-recorded promo from Powerhouse Hobbs, who said, look here, Moxley, I have been shot, I've been stabbed, I have come back from injury, I've been homeless, and if you close your eyes and hear all this, you're probably thinking you're listening to Darby Allin and the misfortunes that he's gone throughout his life. And then he goes on to say once again that, hey, he's going to make a Moxley his bitch, all that. He sounded very confident. He looked really good and strong. And for me, I'm just like, oh, I like how he's looking this way before he takes that L on Dynamite. But at least he looks really, really strong in this promo. Up next, we have Mariah May versus Harley Cameron. This is a non-title match. Mariah said, look, my title ain't going to be on the line against you. I'll entertain you out in that ring, but you ain't going to get a title shot from me. Once again, we have Mariah, who I feel like, oh God, I don't know what's the right word here. I'm just not having fun with this title reign, especially after what we've got with Toni Storm. I just feel like there's something missing here, and maybe we have a little bit of time to make things a little bit more interesting with Mariah. Harley Cameron has improved. Every time I see her in the ring, I'm just feeling so happy to see someone who seems like they're training and they're taking direction, and then they get on TV and the confidence and everything is showing throughout this match. But there's just no way she was going to end up taking the win here against Mariah May, which I'm cool with. After this, we do have Christopher Daniels, who is responding to Hangman little promo from earlier. He said, look, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say about me, but I ain't no old man. I still got a lot left to give this damn business. And he's like, look, last year might not have been a great year for me, but I'm going to get in there and I'm going to tear your ass up in that Texas death match. Honestly, I believe him. I don't know about him winning, but he's probably going to beat the shit out of Hangman, but probably not end up taking the win. After this, we have a squash match. I would say they were wasting our time. They kind of was. But we have Brody Kane coming out there with Julia Hart to go against Trevor Blackwell. It wasn't good for Trevor. I don't even think Trevor got a chance to even touch Brody King. But since Brody King is a beautiful man and I love to see him, I'll take it for what it is. Brody obviously ends up taking the win. After this, though, Brody after a commercial break. He is just about to talk about what he did in the ring and what he's able to do as a wrestler. And Adam Copeland interrupts. And Adam Copeland just like, you and I have a little history. He said, I believe in you. I believe in Buddy Matthews. And he doesn't say anything about Malachi. And he goes, oh, I wanted us to be a group. And then he goes on to say that, to think about things and how he could take the reins and run with it. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Because the other day, William was trying to convince Buddy Matthews that they need the House of Black. And then now, here is Cope coming out here to tell Brody King that he also doesn't need the House of Black. What is this blasphemy that's going on here? I don't know what it is. But now this is definitely feeding more into that rumor about Malachi leaving. And honestly, I really hope that's not the case. But to be honest, if you're not really going to be doing anything with Malachi, then if he has to go, then he has to go. But I really did find this to be interesting. Now, before I move on, Adam Copeland, yes, when the whole thing was happening with Adam Copeland and House of Black before Adam ends up tragically throwing his damn self down from the top of the ring and breaking his leg, he wanted to be the leader of House of Black. I don't know if you guys remember that. He wanted to be in the forefront of that group, and that's what that whole thing was about. So that part is nothing new. It's just the fact that twice we've seen Malachi being not in the picture in terms of being mentioned. So it's interesting to see where things go. After this, match of the night, TNT title, okay? Well, match of the night for Collision. Because New Japan, I'll give a review on that in a second. And that right there was a whole different ball game. Match of Collision was for the TNT Championship, Daniel Garcia versus Shibata. Now, I'm not going to lie, Shibata, he's amazing to me. And I haven't really... his matches has been great, but I've really felt like they have not used Shibata to his fullest potential in AEW. So sometimes I'm not necessarily happy to see him out in the ring, knowing that he's going for the title and definitely not seeing this title go anywhere. Now, Daniel Garcia has had this title for over a month now, well over a month now. And since he was in the Continental Classic, he could not put the title on the line, so we haven't seen much from him. And now we're finally able to see him be TNT champion. And I felt like this match right here, I don't know anyone else, but Shibata could have really helped him bring out that championship material out of Daniel Garcia. So I felt like with this match, he's looking and feeling like a champion going against someone like Shibata. We did have to go through here in Daddy Magic on commentary, so you could just mute the damn thing. But other than that, I really felt like, okay, he is looking really good. Shibata, he's been in the ring with one-on-one. He's been in the ring with him doing tag. So he's had experience with him. I thought this was a really great opponent for him. I just didn't want to see Shibata lose, to be honest with you. Daniel Garcia ends up retaining the title. And honestly, if you stopped watching the show from here, you would have been good. But apparently, we had Dax Harwood, Dax the Axe, versus the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. For the main event, why? No fucking clue. Main event was Hot Mess. And I always try to keep my feelings about certain wrestlers or whatever out the equation in terms of, am I still watching a really great match? And for me, I didn't feel it. I did not feel anything. Whatever they're doing with Chris Jericho is just not working. And I don't know if the company is seeing this or not, but from a fan perspective, I just don't see Jericho like how I saw him 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Something about it is just not there right now. I felt like, sometimes I was just like, Jericho, baby, what are you doing? There were some things that didn't make sense. There was even this part where Jericho sort of kind of maybe poked the referee in the eye. Referee goes out there and try to fix his eye and shit. And then Jericho uses the title to hit Dax with it. He misses by 40 million miles. Something about it wasn't there. They made sure to say that this match, no one can come out. Everyone and their mama is barred from ringside. Oh, hold on now. There was this guy who was sitting ringside, who's a fan, obviously, watching the show. And he had the Sting jacket, the Sting paint and everything, the goatee, all that shit. And I'm just like, oh, this was distracting the whole fucking show because he looks so much like Sting with the whole getup or whatever. This match was shit. I just didn't fucking care for it. And like I said, Chris Jericho being in the main event for no fucking reason is just diabolical to me, when really we could have ended the match with, we could have ended the show for the TNT Championship. That would have been a better way to end off the show, but instead we got to suffer with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho ends up taking the win with a Judas Effect. What was it, Judas Effect? Whatever. What, I don't give a fuck. The match was just not where it should be for a main event at all. Now, after the show, the Learning Tree and them, the whole group come on out there. And then here comes Adam Copeland and Cash Wheeler coming on over there. And to make things even better, Death Riders is like, hey, we going out there too. We gonna put some boots on somebody out there. They come out there and they get into their little scuffle. And it's very interesting because all this is going on. And at first Moxley wasn't there. Then Moxley ends up coming out there. And it's him and Adam Copeland. Marina comes out there. And it looks like they're going to give Adam Copeland a concerto. Maybe. I'm guessing. Because his head was already laid up on a chair, and then Moxley had another chair, maybe going for the concerto. We don't know, because Powerhouse Hobbs come on out there to save him. Not only does Powerhouse Hobbs come out there to save Adam Copeland, all the whole group, all of them end up scattering like flies, leaving Wheeler Yuta behind. They left Wheeler, Lord have mercy. They left Wheeler Yuta behind. And then Powerhouse Hobbs ends up putting Wheeler Yuta through the announce table. What did Wheeler Yuta do to deserve this? This is what I'm saying. Wheeler Yuta is just the fucking runt of the group, and they go ahead and just do whatever the fuck they want with him. Wheeler Yuta, hopefully he's getting a raise at this point. And that's how we end up just leaving off the show, and you get to see how Moxley is looking at Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs, even though I'm a little annoyed about Powerhouse Hobbs saving people when really he don't need to be doing any of this shit, he looks strong. So strong here tonight with the promo and how they ended off the show. And this is what fucking worries me. AEW world title on the line next week on a fucking random Dynamite. Well, they call it Maximum Carnage, so they're making it feel a little important than usual. And they're going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're going to be where Moxley is from. I don't even see Moxley losing this, to be honest with you. Now, with that being said, let's say they have a really great match. What the fuck happens next? I feel like, once again, it's going to be Hobbs being lost in the shuffle after a situation like this. And it should not be. We have a huge storyline here where majority of the people who are in this storyline are veterans. And having these young talent, creep up in the mix in this, it's a good thing. But then what happens when you hit that brick wall where he goes for the world title, and then what from there? Because time and time again, they have done this with Hobbs, where he is seemingly looking really great, and then there's nothing with it after this. And that's what I'm afraid of. If he loses, that's fine. As long as he looks great in the ring with Mox, I'll take it. But they're going to continue to do something with him. I don't want this guy to be lost in the shuffle like they do every single time, especially with a whole bunch of these young cats that's on this roster. So I'm hoping for the best for Powerhouse Hobbs. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's looking good at this point. But fingers crossed for Powerhouse Hobbs. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'm also doing a review on New Japan Battle of the Valley pay-per-view, so check that out as well. See you guys then. Bye.